Hi, everybody. So again, welcome to December. Our theme is gatherings is family. And I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed that when you return home to your family home, the one where your parents are or your siblings, when you go back into your family of origin to celebrate the holidays, do you ever notice that you kind of revert to some old roles that you had within the family as you were growing up? So suddenly, like, your brother is a little brat again, or your older sister is the bossy one. Everybody tends to kind of revert back to the roles they played within their family growing up. What is that about? Well, I'm here to sort of illuminate some light on that so that perhaps when you rejoin your family for the holiday season, you can maybe have a little more compassion or even a sense of humor around these roles that we tend to revert back to when we join them at the dinner table. So here's what's happening. We've got this brain, right? And our brain is a machine. And our whole lives, what our brain has been trying to do is to keep us safe, is to notice patterns, is to connect dots so that it knows how to navigate life most efficiently for you. And so it will collect all this data and it will start shaping an identity for you. A way of being in whatever environment you happen to be in. And it goes by what has worked in the past. So your brain is going to always fluctuate to sort of reviewing all the data it has. Where have I been in this situation before? And what did I do before? Because your brain wants to be extremely efficient. It wants to save energy. And remember, its primary focus is keeping you safe. So what it will do is it will look at all the conditions, all the outside conditions, and it'll say, where have I seen this before? What role have I placed? What have I done before? What habits have I already created within this environment that worked for me before or seems familiar to me before? Notice the word familiar. So your brain has a way of creating habitual patterns for you based on the past. And it looks at what you're dealing with right now and possibly in the future. And then it collects that data and it goes back into its memory of what did I do before? What habits did I use before? And so we find ourselves in our old bedroom at home and we think, wow, how come I feel like a little kid before? And we think, how come I feel like a little kid again? How come I feel like there's something off with me? I'm not like this independent woman or man that's in charge of her life. I feel like a little kid that has to wait her turn or has to wait to be called down to dinner or is waiting for the chores or, I just don't feel like myself. I feel like this dependent little whiny kid again. And all these people in my family have a way of like pushing my buttons. Like, what is that about? Well, it's just your brain that's bringing back your own habitual conditioning that you established all those years ago. And it's not doing it to drive you nuts. It's doing that because that's what it knows. That's what it's familiar with. And so it's bringing it back because it's familiar. And if you don't know this, if you don't understand what your brain is doing, and it's not doing this to bug you, it's just doing what it does. If you don't know that that's what's happening, you're going to feel off kilter. You're going to feel like, God, I hate being around these people, or, oh, how do they always know what to say or what to do to drive me nuts? When you don't know what's happening, you're going to be in reactive mode again, and you're going to run the patterns that you ran when you were a little kid. So you're going to sulk, or you're going to storm off, or you're going to go to your room and slam the door and wonder why you feel like that 5-year-old kid again. And it doesn't have to be like that. When you recognize that, oh my gosh, that's right, my brain is just recognizing my own habitual patterns from that time, and it's looking at this environment and saying, this is familiar, I know this, oh, let's run that pattern again. When you know that's what's really going on, you can take a little step back, see it for what it is, and have a little more compassion for what's happening, those patterns being run, and even a little bit of a sense of humor for it, because it kind of is funny when we look at it and we see ourselves reverting back to our old selves when we were so dependent on everybody else and when we fit a certain role. And the other thing is, you're going to have people in your family that are also having these same patterns run for them. And so they're going to expect you to be placed in that role that you used to be in. So the bossy older sister is going to expect you to be the one that listens to her. It's just our brains running their habits. But it doesn't have to be like that. So you don't have to be at the mercy of your brain when you know that that's what's going on. You can have some perspective, calm down, not be in reactive mode, and maybe have a little bit of a laugh about it.